Hello and welcome to Relics of Orr, episode 55. I'm your host, Shongaku, and joining me this week is Christian.
Hi.
Spirit.
Hi.
And Cole. Cole. Hey, have you guys seen Cole? Where's Cole?
Where is he?
Okay, sorry about those technical difficulties. We just saw Batman? I'm not quite sure what's going on over on Cole's end. Have you guys... What?
Hey, is he gone yet?
Who? Batman?
That's a Batman.
Oh. Where's Cole?
Cole, you got a plan here? It's part of...
Yes.
It's part of your plan?
Our plan was to have Cole on the show.
We're just going to improvise, okay? And here we go. So now welcome to this Mad King's Realm version of the Relics of Orr podcast. I'll be your host. You need to know who I am. With me also is Shongaku the Necromancer.
Good evening.
Yep. And also with us is Steve Irwin.
Yeah, g'day. Don't worry, I haven't brought any snakes with me. Show's going to be safe and sound.
Yep, and don't make loud noises, you might provoke him. Also, we've got Spirit Lord Ano Hikari, which I like to refer to as our resident apparition American. How are you?
I am wonderful.
Beautiful. Now, I guess we want to just go straight into the news, I guess. What's happened to this stupid game?
Well, they've added a few new features, such as the ability to adjust the field of view.
Yep, been beta testing that, in fact. And I've got to say, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it.
With the new...
crikey, mate.
With the new field of view or the old field of view?
No, the new one.
New field.
Why would you not do it? You have to be lacking in a certain amount of brain power, as far as I'm concerned. Anybody with a dissenting opinion on that? Because I'll kill you.
So you're saying, why on earth wouldn't you update to the new field of view feature?
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. Would you? So basically, you have to ask yourself a question: one, would you like to see more, or two, would you like to see what you can currently see? And the answer to that question is pretty simple.
I think that they're in league with some Tylenol lobbyists, personally. And that's why they rolled it out, but we are onto their little scheme.
Yeah, so this is a pretty cool wee update. I always like having a slightly wider field of view. Means I can keep an eye on those rattlesnakes in my peripheral vision.
What about the stingrays? I'm sorry.
Well,
too early.
Well,
that's a slightly different issue.
That's why you're here with us.
He's not good at underwater combat.
who really is good at underwater combat, though?
That's a good point.
No, elementalists, I said sarcastically.
I think that perhaps the only person I've ever heard say that they think they're overpowered underwater is a mesmer.
Engineers are. I would say engineers are. They shoot rockets.
Mesmer's pretty good. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's overpowered. I think they're just not the worst underwater class, maybe. That's not exactly the best thing you can say.
So that means that they are the best, because pretty much everyone is terrible underwater.
I suppose by that logic.
Yeah. You know, when I was in high school, I was the king of the nerds. Boy, that was a great place to be. That's like the same logic. Don't look at me like I'm not making sense, damn it.
You're not making sense.
I'm going to burn you all with gasoline.
Well, speaking of burning people with gasoline... How about karma?
Alright, so they
Yeah, go ahead, Spirit Lord.
they updated some stuff to allow us to get more karma, because basically the only way to get karma was to farm it through chains in large amounts. So what they did was they updated to add karma rewards from your dailies, your monthly achievements, and dungeons. And they come in concentrated jugs of karma, which which give you I believe it's 4,500 per jug for your daily. I don't know what the monthly or dungeons are.
Dungeon.
but-
The dungeon ones aren't actually jugs. They just give you karma at the end.
That works too. Anyway,
How much karma is it?
For the dungeon,
Yes.
it scales according to your level. So I believe at level 80 you get 1,880 karma, something like that.
Wow. So you can definitely work on your legendaries much faster for getting obsidian shards and the like.
I suppose it's something you, when you hit the diminishing returns from dynamic event farming, because time-wise, doing dungeons isn't necessarily the best way to rack up your karma.
well, if
I
you're
guess-
just farming it straight up, then no. But you can do a wider variety of activities that will all contribute to karma that you can use towards obsidian shards.
Our good friends at did anybody mention the karma boosters and saving your jugs for that?
I was working on it, but somebody started laughing.
I'm sorry about that. Easily misled.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
I'm done. Just trying not to laugh at this point.
All right then. Well, maybe I'll break in here. So with the karma jugs, they're consumable, right? So what you want to do is pop your karma booster from the gem store and get your karma boost from your guild flag, and then potentially even go into World v World when you're outmanned, because you get more karma that way too. And when you pop them, all those boosters will affect the amount of karma you get from the karma jug. So you can pretty much double your karma reward from these jugs that way.
Highly recommended.
Yep.
Impressive. So that makes it, what, 9,000 karma per jug?
approximately, yes, if all the boosters work. We haven't tested out the Outman buff in World v World, but Monday night, Pig is going to be popping all of their karma flags and karma boosters, and they're going to get together to do World v World. So if you want to come do some World v World and use your karma up, come join us Monday night.
That sounds excellent.
I think he was working his way up to a Super Saiyan reference there.
I wasn't the only one. All
Over
right.
9,000!
Very good.
Hadouken!
That's a different game. So, so more news. They've released some new content with the Halloween patch.
They
Including-
have
New jumping puzzles, and mini dungeons. And they split the achievements and stuff so that jumping puzzles have their own achievement track. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they did.
So, has anyone found any of the new stuff?
I found the jumping puzzle in Dredgehaunt Cliffs and jumped up it with Swashbuckler Dan. It was rather a fun one. We spent half the time resing each other because there's a nasty fall that you can take.
Is that the one where you go through a door which has a portal and you need to light the way with torches?
No, that is the dark room. This one in Dredgehaunt Cliffs is at the top of another jumping puzzle. The one in the dredge right near the dungeon in Dredgehaunt
Yep.
Cliffs.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
is, so you jump up the scaffolding and arrive at the top, and that is where you then go into a cave, and there's a bunch of ice elementals and a jumping puzzle.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because
I
I found that other one, which may have been a mini dungeon, I guess, but it was broken at the time I was there, or at least if it wasn't broken, I couldn't find the way to progress further.
I heard it was bugged. I don't think it was just you.
Okay, cool.
And that was the dark room?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's a dark room, so you can't see a thing unless you pick up a torch and light the way.
Yes.
And there are Skelk who extinguish the light.
And apparently you need a group of people to really do it effectively, because you have to stagger when the torches go out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
It is a very complex puzzle from everything I've read about it. We should definitely try it sometime.
And actually, speaking of this, it reminds me, they've also added titles for the other mini dungeons that already existed, and puzzles that already existed, which makes me curious about checking out one I found in Straits of Devastation, which only had a chest and a rich mithril vein at the end and nothing else, even though it's a fairly strenuous task to get there, I
I
guess.
believe I actually saw that in the exploration achievements.
Cool.
So I believe it is there. That was what I looked for.
While we're talking about achievements, they also added achievements for the world bosses. So for Jormeg, for be under the claw of Jormeg as it crashes to the ground, and it will kill you. So there's different little tasks like that for each of the overworld bosses now. So go out there and fight the bosses and get your achievements.
So it's not just about taking down the boss.
No, you have to do certain things. That, like I mentioned with the Claw of Jormeg, you have to be on the ground where it crash lands and it'll hit you to get the achievement. For the Shatterer, you have to break 5 people out of crystals while you're fighting it. And I don't know the other ones off the top of my head, but it's all similar things. You have to do certain things.
You have to stand on your head while taking out the dragon.
Yes.
And
under a full moon.
Reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish.
On the 3rd Tuesday.
Very good.
And the count shall be the 3rd Tuesday, not the 4th, not the 5th. And do not stop on 2.
Never go wrong with a Monty Python reference. Ministry of Silly Walk.
So go ahead.
No, I was actually going to carry on. So first go to you.
No, I was about to carry on to the fact that there are improved rewards from the chests, apparently. Have you noticed that?
No.
I have a little bit. In the few puzzles and chests I've done, they're more greens. I don't think I've gotten any blues. Yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed greens now, which isn't the worst. I mean, it's not fantastic, but you could always save up the greens and take them to the Mystic Forge and make them into something better. So
I suppose what I meant is yes, I guess I have seen an improvement, but it's still crap. So
there are definitely not very many rares.
Yeah, but then they can't give away free stuff. So
they got that Pact Forge token. That thing was worth some pretty sticky looking stuff. It's only rares, but you can transmog. I'm playing World of Warcraft, for God's sake. You can transmute them onto something that you like more.
I actually did that with the staff skin, and it looks quite impressive.
Same here.
If you're not a fan of them, though, they're also not soulbound. So I went and sold mine on the auction house for $1.
Really?
Yes.
You should see that greatsword. It's like I'm from Final Fantasy. Thing's about 5 times my size. I love it. I want to get that thing.
But you already had the icy one that was ridiculous and looked like it was from a cartoon anyway.
Except it's really short.
Hey, don't that. What did I ever do to you?
So what we're talking about, in case you missed that, was now when you finish your personal story, you will get a Pact reward token, which you can take into the instance in Fort Trinity, which they finally added. And there's a reward guy there who you can turn that token into for a weapon.
Yeah, to find that instance is a little tricky. Nothing really outlining it. There's a point of interest in there, and I don't remember what it was called. It was like Care of All. Very good. we're now an informative podcast as opposed to obnoxious. Actually, we're still both. Anyway,
We definitely still qualify as obnoxious.
at least on behalf of myself, I'm sure. So, yeah, you go to that point of interest, and if you just start heading that way, eventually you'll run into a door. The moment you do that, you've got your instance. It'll just suddenly say, hey, you're at this instance. Oh, well, thank you for that. And you go inside and you get your stuff.
If you have completed the story, which you must have to have gotten the token, you've been in Caraval. You're forced to go through there to talk to Traherne at least once. So hopefully you can remember sort of what it looks like and get to it.
And it only goes to the mail of the character that won the thing. So if you've logged on to your alts and you're like, I didn't get anything, log on to the character that did the personal story, and you'll have it.
That way,
That's
each character, when they finish the personal story, will get their own token.
Yes, it's akin to Guild Wars, where you would get the Draknar's key or whatever from completing your story, and then you're able to turn it in. I don't know if you can transfer it between. Is the thing soulbound?
Yes.
The token?
The token, yes.
Don't know.
No, I
Okay.
think that it is account bound. I do believe.
Okay.
Because
But-
I know in Guild Wars, people would sell their keys or whatever they would get from completing the story. It was different for each campaign. But, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if the thing is bound since your weapons aren't account or soul bound and you can just sell them anyway.
Madness! Madness! This is Krita! That's what you sound like when you have potato in your mouth, and this is Halloween Adventures, Guild Wars. And anybody that has ever played Guild Wars or an arena... Hi, microphone, I should be talking into you, not that. If you played Guild Wars, you would know that this company is really good about making Halloween super exciting, unlike us, right, guys? So, the Mad King storyline, who knows anything about this? Because I sure as hell don't.
I only did the first part. I haven't gone on and done the second part. So they put in a kind of like a little quest line which teaches you a little bit about the history of the Mad King. So you go from point to point, and there are different ghosts who will tell you their part in the history of the Mad King's rise. Because it turns out he wasn't actually, well, he was always all that bad. But he wasn't always the Mad King, of course, and he used to have a head. So
Yes, he did. And so in his rise to becoming Mad King Thorn started young, killing small children by spooking horses into trampling them, eventually graduating into killing his own brother by abandoning him to spiders so that he would be the sole heir to the throne. As he grew in power and eventually became king, he married many women, most of which died gruesomely. At the end, eventually his own subjects decided to kill him by taking him, cutting him into as many pieces as possible, skinning him alive beforehand, chopping off his head, and then separating the pieces across Krita and hopefully into the furthest edges of Tyria, so that he could never reassemble himself.
Well, they should make a Disney movie out of that. That's safe for children. Sir, I like this guy.
He's definitely
as you
your
get-
kind of person,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah, he's-
Joker.
yes.
And he got cut up and fed to the pooches.
Yes. The good thing about it, though, is that we get some cool loot out of it. Everything just went quiet, so I thought we...
The upside to all the slaughtering and the murdering is we get cool loot, which seems to
We
be a
do.
pretty consistent theme to
We
most
do.
MMOs.
Oh, God.
We are, and the interesting thing that I think is an odd theme for Guild Wars in general is that the heroes tend to do very crazy things in the pursuit of this loot. Hey guys, let's release Pawala Joko. That couldn't possibly go wrong. Hey guys, there's all of these crazy Mad King people running around in Lion's Arch. We should probably help them with the things they're asking about because they'll give us cool things. And it can possibly go bad by, I don't know, releasing the spirit of a Mad King who caused fear and trembling wherever he went.
So
That pretty much sums it up.
But all that matters is I got a glowing book that goes on my back that has fire and it lights things up.
I
How
have
cool
to
is
say that
that?
is rather awesome, and I got a pair of slippers from jumping. I actually got 2 pairs of
Nice.
slippers from jumping up his horrific clock tower, which I believe certain members have choice words about.
So I see someone's been reading the subreddit. Is that where you got this from, or was it the guild chat? Because I was using some curse words there as well.
I heard it from the guild chat. It was reported to me.
So before we launch into this, part of the Halloween update was to throw in this new realm, the Mad King's realm, which has 3 different zones, and each has a different activity. And one of those activities is a crazy jumping puzzle, which we will now discuss. Go.
Contrary to what all the cursing and all the evil words that I've used, they were certainly evil. I have to say, this is probably one of the best jumping puzzles we've seen in this game. But there's a problem. You see, I don't like to call it the Mad King's Clock Tower. I like to call it the Big Norn Male Ass Clock Tower. Because when I get it, first of all, you have to sit there and wait for this cue. You see this little progress bar go by, and you're like, am I playing Half-Life 2 on the PS3, for God's sake here? After that thing's finally done with that nonsense, and it takes you into the cinematic, which, was interesting the first time out of 500. And it's only 4 seconds, but 4 seconds repeated over and over can drive you mad. You ever heard of Chinese torture? So you get beyond this, and then you're finally in the jumping puzzle. Hey, that's great. Why is there always one male Norn? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I swear to God, it's like these people. They get in here and they look around and they go, hey, there's no male Norns here. Time to log off and get my alt. And that's where that Norn comes from every time. Either that or ArenaNet is trolling our asses. Either way, there's always that one. And if they could help it, like back before they changed it so that you couldn't do this, that Norn specifically was a warrior, and he busted out his banner and he shot off a speed boost right when you had that calculated jump to make. Hello, mists. Got so frustrated with this thing, I left for a while. Came back, and I realized part of the problem I had was that when I do jumping puzzles, and I'm not sure everybody does this, and this is getting to be quite a rant, but hopefully it's flavored enough. Once again, hello, microphone. You get that camera swung over your head, right? That helps you gauge your jump back and forth, forward, backward. I don't care where I am on the Z-axis too much. So I always swing my camera like that. Problem is with this one, there's a bunch of crap over your head. Now, fun fact about the Guild Wars 2 camera, and this is fact. In other games, let's say this is your character, this is your camera. They move relative to each other. Now, let's say my chin is something in the environment. In other games, you jump, and this thing stops here, and it keeps going, and that's how it compensates. That's all it does. In Guild Wars 2, here's what the camera does. You jump up, it's moving relative, it suddenly senses there's a wall there, it goes inside of you and gives you a checkup on your pancreas for about 1 minute. Then once it lets you out, you're already falling to your death. Hate the thing, fix it, for God's sake. That is the worst part of these jumping puzzles, is that camera. So to the guy who designed this thing, kudos to you. You've made the greatest jumping puzzle in the game. Oh God, I got scar tissue on my thumb. To the guy who designed our camera, well, I'm not going to say to you what I think, but you need to fix it. That's all. Okay, I'm done.
The field of view update, so it does somewhat help with it. I was using it to get around the clock tower, and it does help. It doesn't prevent the camera from shooting into you, but it does let you see farther ahead, because the way the field of view is altered is you get a little bit more horizon. So it does help, and especially like for me, I get motion sick in jumping puzzles, and doing it with the field of view, I didn't get sick at all. I did it for like 2 hours straight, and I was raging and upset, but I didn't get sick, so there's that.
It took me about 2 hours to actually successfully complete it. Have all of you completed the jumping puzzle then as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
I went to read a book to my son for bedtime last night, came back, and my wife had done it for me.
Aww.
So I'm done. No, I'll actually try it again later when there are quite so many people.
You should-
Because when I got far enough into it, I learned if you kick your camera back and it's like, mostly behind you, then your biggest obstacle is that big male Norn. But that's a whole lot better than having your camera shot into yourself over and over again.
There's
So I was somewhere.
I noticed a couple times when it would put me in, it would zoom my camera in, and I actually could zoom it out more. So when you first get in there, the goo, I don't know what they're calling it, it'll start rising. And if you fall into it, it will grab you, drag you down, and you will have to start over. But right at the beginning, there's a staircase and a couple easy jumps, and then it'll pause. You can use that time to zoom out or get set up, fix your camera, whatever. It's mostly for people who have like long loading cinematics or whatever, and they're still getting out to get caught up with everyone before they start. But
I don't think the loading cinematic has anything to do with it, because once I didn't run off straight away after my cinematic popped me in, and I was dead straight away because the water rises.
It's not straight away. There's like a
pretty much. It was.
I don't know.
Ryan, I was going to say you should go do it on an alt so that you get boots for them, because the reward for succeeding in the jumping puzzle is you get a soulbound, non-salvageable pair of Magic Find exotic boots.
Yeah, I got those for my thief. Well, Lacey got those for my thief. I'm not sure I care to have it for my guardian.
Right.
The guardian ones are actually they're a nice skin.
They're from the tier 3 human. I think it depends on which race you are, right? Do you just get tier 3 cultural for your race?
I don't know. I haven't finished it on anything besides a human. So.
I didn't check my Norn.
I believe that it is actually the named character gear that is scattered about the world. So like Talcora's set and those. Are you familiar with that set? The blindfold set.
The Sears one?
It's a level 80 exotic, I believe, and it has a blindfold. It kind of looks... I think,
I'm familiar with that one.
Yes, it's the Sears set, I believe, is what the Mad King skin is.
Because I couldn't tell from the boots and the...
that would be...
Mesmer first.
That would be the light set. Because the medium set, I had shurikens on my sandals, is what the...
So what, that's the duelist set?
I don't think it's the duelist set.
Because they have shurikens on them.
If it's the duelist set, I'll cry because I wanted the chest piece, and the chest piece for the women is like this big.
Oh, that's standard.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys ever thought of playing Terra Online? Because you're pretty much doing it already, right?
Unless you're playing a
there are
medium
some really nice
class,
ones,
and then you just wear trench coats.
Or a shirt that's this big.
Can we set up a bar brawl sometime to talk about this? And we need to get Azari in on that, where we talk about whether or not they've done well or poorly in terms of gender equality and all that happiness. I know. That's seriously controversial.
Into that.
Yeah. I
think
it'd be a good idea.
Yeah. So other stuff from the Halloween update were new things in the gem store. So have you guys picked up costumes?
My wife has, and she's kicking everyone's butt in her costume with the costume brawl.
They
Which one's she using?
Slightly pay to win.
The Witch, yeah. That's the one I bought and have used and have maxed out my title on.
Yeah, she gets on that broom and it's like later days. I'm not fighting it.
Yeah.
But that's a great idea, honestly. I like them.
They're really cool. And at first everyone was doing the costume brawl, and then when they also say it's not just tied to Halloween, so you can just have costume brawl whenever. But it's going to be difficult to get people to do that outside of events, I think. And then I was doing it, trying to max out the title, thinking there'd be a title at the end of it that I could put on my character. And there isn't so far. So there's not really any point beyond having fun, of course, to do the costume brawl, but then 500 wins was much more than I would have enjoyed.
Hey, how about those Mad King jokes in the Mad King costume?
Yeah.
I see. Now, a lot of them are lore-oriented, and I know the lore, but the one that made me laugh the most, it goes something like this, not verbatim. It says, "This costume itches. But it's better to be in this costume than the Mad King's underpants." Wait, that didn't come out right.
Yep.
I have not heard that one. I have the costume and I still haven't heard that one. That's how many jokes it has. I've been running around spamming them.
I think you also get different ones from males and females.
Oh, is there?
Maybe.
I've been putting it on. The costumes are account bound; they're not soul bound.
Yeah.
But you've only got the one copy, so I've been throwing it in my bank and putting it on different characters. There's some really cool. They differ by race, like with the witch's broom, all your characters sit on it differently. The humans kind of sit daintily. My Char surfs on it and stands up. My Asura grabs it and her legs flap in the wind like she's barely holding on as it goes along. So they've got some great animations.
And the Norn do the aeroplane, which is hilarious when you see a giant male Norn on this tiny little broom doing an aeroplane.
The Norn have excellent balance, then.
Yes.
They have certainly a higher center of gravity, so they work harder to maintain their balance on the broom.
I don't know, with how many times they have to try at that clock tower jumping puzzle, their balance sucks pretty bad. I always root for him. You get there, it's like, hey, buddy, I'm rooting for you. And he goes, thanks. I'm like, don't be nice to me. I'm not being nice to you.
So what do you think about those chests, though? That is an interesting gem shop.
We were talking about the chests in the next bar brawl with Azari, though.
No,
those
kind of
chests.
And while the chests on the various female characters are generally substantial, I was referring to the Black Lion trading treasure chests that you are locked and you can open to get, in theory, a Halloween skin. I say in theory because the drop chance is somewhere around 1 in 5,347 million to 1.
That's very exact of you, by the way.
Approximately, okay.
This is Relics of Orr. We never make things up.
All facts on Relics of Orr have been pre-approved by a team of expert gibbons, one of which is currently working with Steve Irwin.
This guy right here. So a bunch of new stuff drops from the Black Lion chests, including special holiday skins. And there's also, what was the deal? There's also a new Mystic Forge recipe, which gives you a special Halloween chest so that you can only get Halloween reward items from it in case you don't want to get all the other crap out of Black Lion chests.
What you have to do is the Halloween chest is forged out of goods out of the Black Lion chest, so you've got to open the Black Lion chest anyway.
And it's a 2-to-1 ratio because it requires 6 mystic tonics, of which you only get 3 per Black Lion chest.
Right. It doesn't necessarily calculate, like, how many keys you need isn't necessarily right, because a lot of times you'll get keys out of the Black Lion chest. But yeah, the Halloween chest is made out of 25 candy corn, 6 mystic tonics, 1 boost of any type, and another boost of any type. So karma, kill streak, magic find, whatever. You put it in there, and then you can get Halloween goodies out of it. It doesn't cost another key to open. You can just open the Halloween chest. But I made one earlier, and all I got out of it was 4 chattering skulls and something like 30 candy corn. So not necessarily worth it unless you get the skins. But the skins are very nice looking. There's a chainsaw sword. There's a scythe staff, which is, I can imagine, very popular.
Except on necromancers who get it by default anyway.
Yeah, but you can have it all the time.
As opposed to doing one podcast. I've opened about...
It's like sideception over here.
I've opened about 30 different chests. Normal combination Mad King chests and Black Lion chests. Not a single skin or recipe drop.
Yeah.
I am rather disappointed, but after playing Star Trek Online, I kind of expected this to be a rather gamble-ish type thing.
But it's also like Guild Wars was with trick-or-treat bags and Halloween.
I don't recall you having to pay for those.
No, but you still had a ridiculously high, basically you had whatever consumable bags or stuff you opened for gifts in Guild Wars, there was always one item which everyone wanted, which had a ridiculously low drop rate as well.
Once again, you didn't pay real money for those.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, my recommendation, stay away from them, because you're probably going to be throwing your money to the wind.
Well, yeah. Unless you buy the keys with gems that you purchase from in-game gold, but again, that's kind of a waste.
There's if you have characters around level 10, your level 10 personal story gives a free Black Lion key. I've even heard of people rolling human warriors and then just going straight through their stories because they could just do it, their level 10 story at level 4, and just farming the Black Lion keys out of them. So that is an option, but it's a little bit exploity farmy, so at your own risk.
That is a way to do it without having to pay.
It's true. I did it once on my engineer, but
I got a question about the skins and all that are unique to Halloween. Do you guys think, and this is speculation here, but do you think there's going to be something after Halloween in which you will be able to access some of these skins, these temporary items that we have right now? Say, I don't know, a dungeon or something like that comes along after Halloween ends and you can go to the Mad King's realm, or is this all just a bunch of nonsense?
I actually don't think so. I feel like with release coming out, they probably rushed Halloween out, and there was a couple things that they were a little bit short-sighted on because they're rushing to get us a holiday. I feel like we won't see a dungeon, but maybe future content. Let's say next year, they'll be looking at adding stuff to Halloween, and that is absolutely a viable option. I had
similar to the secret lair of the snowman in By the North.
Because the trouble is though that all the stuff you need for those pseudo-legendary weapons, the unique skinned Halloween craftable weapons, which you can preview by purchasing them from either Candy Corns or 6 Silver. If you haven't got the mats from that in the short space of time of 1 week, then how are you going to get them later besides buying up the supply on the auction house, which will mean that all Halloween items will increase in price because supply will run out because there's no way to, continue to bring in that supply, which is why I was thinking there might still, after Halloween, be a way to access the Mad King's realm so you can still get those chattering skulls and that kind of stuff.
As opposed to turning it into a farmer's or a store and then resell type item set.
Yeah. So that I don't know. I kind of think maybe the jumping puzzle clock tower and the labyrinth and then the Dota style zone could be left as accessible maybe from time to time or all the time, which now that I think of it, didn't we speculate something along the lines of a Dota style game?
We did.
It's like prophecy over here.
Although I was hoping that it would be Polymorph, although if you read the forums, a lot of people really, really don't want to actually see Polymorph in the game.
Well, nobody wants to see the Guild Wars Polymorph again, but I wouldn't mind seeing a reworked Polymorph. The idea was cool, it just wasn't executed wonderfully.
No, I think that they ran into limitations with their engine, was what they said.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, Relics of Orr.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. You people need to listen to what we say, because we tend to call it the authenticators, this now. Have we, you know what's probably going to come next is not having a camera observing our pancreas in the middle of jumping puzzles. We called it.
Indeed.
You don't actually play Operation while you do your jumping puzzles.
Nation, it's time to talk about fiscal responsibility in virtual worlds. Stimulus package!
Free ectos for everybody! Christian, why don't you tell us about what this strange and insane plan may involve?
Yeah. So, first of all, I want to just point out this beautiful, beautiful little creature here. I found this little critter. Oh, she's a feisty one. She was crawling around downstairs. I pulled her out. I like to call her Kara. So she's going to spend the rest of the show in my shirt. Whoa! Anyway, so stimulus package. Because it's not exactly free, but a good strategy that you can use is find yourself some exotic weapons which have sigils on them, and find out how much those sigils are going for. And if those sigils sell for as much as it cost you to buy that weapon, then go ahead and buy the exotic weapon, salvage with your Blackline salvage kit, and you'll get the sigil guaranteed. And then you'll get either 0, 1, 2, or 3 ectos, depending on your luck. And it's a decent way of getting free ectos. And I picked up about 23 of them so far for roughly no loss. I screwed up once and used the wrong salvage kit, so that was a loss of about $1. But
Ooh.
Stuff happens.
Moral of the story: use the right salvage kit always. Always.
Yeah, always.
And so to pick that's pretty much it. So to conclude our first stimulus package, I would like all the co-hosts to join me in declaring
Ogden's
what
savings?
Yes. What they just said. What savings?
Well,
which allows us to move on.
Which does allow us to move on to the Gaki Fan Club, also known as Relics of Orr Mailbag, but with a way cooler name. The Gaki Fan Club, we actually got a letter this week from one of the members of Relics of Orr, Vrabin, wrote us an email with a prophetic proclamation. Candy cane shards, or whatever equivalent to Candy Corn's Winter's Day will have, will be collectible from trees as opposed to mining nodes.
What does everyone think?
Yes. I actually heard the same prediction independently from Hunter's Insight. Yes.
Oh, really?
Well, if Hunter thinks it and Rabbit thinks it, I think we're good.
Yeah, because if you oppose that idea, you're going to be burned with gasoline.
What? The one thing, when Hunter and I were talking about that, though, we were talking about racial holidays. So, like, Halloween is takes place in Kryta. So Lion's Arch is a logical place for the main focus of Halloween to be. But we were kind of expecting Winter's Day to be focused around Divinity's Reach, the city of the gods. And Winter's Day has always been about Grenth and Dwayna and their shenanigans. So we were hoping to kind of see decorations around Divinity's Reach as opposed to Lion's Arch, but also probably in Lion's Arch because it's so much the crossroads of Tyria.
Sounds about right.
Unlike the Mad King, who has a locational tie to Lion's Arch, I don't think the gods would be like, well, we could show up in Lion's Arch, even though they don't really worship us anymore, or we could go to Divinity's Reach, where they've got temples and stuff, as they actually, have metaphysical GPS, so they can say we should probably we should relocate our event.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't paying attention, sorry. I was poking his nose.
That's all right.
I don't think any of us have been really paying all that much attention this episode.
Yeah.
Could you give me your opinion on Dwayna versus Grenth? Hey, that's like mother and son. I don't give a care. Whatever.
Oh. Well, let's close off the episode with Wheel of Morality. Wheel of Morality?
Wait. Can we get the Joker to do that?
I think we should.
Say it in his voice.
You're absolutely correct.
So, Wheel of Morality. Turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Spirit.
The only place you find success before work is in the dictionary.
And on that bombshell, write into Relics of Orr at relicsofore@gmail.com, or you can leave notes for us in the comments. We always love to hear from you guys. And we are signing out. Have an enjoyable Halloween.
You're gonna fix that camera, or I'm gonna cut you up and feed you to the pooches. I'm a man of my word.